So, we just got a look at the new Stellar Blade trailer at Summer Game Fest, and the main character looks like she just graduated preschool. But I'ma keep it a buck here. Is that really an issue? Now before you click off and call me every name in the book, just hear me out, dude. Claire in Resident Evil 2 Remake had a baby face too. That Korean chick from Squid Game? Oh, I could pinch her cheeks all day long. But apparently Evie, the new protagonist of Stellar Blade Blood Rain, is where the internet draws the line. And honestly, I didn't even notice the controversy until I scrolled through Twitter and saw everyone losing their minds over it. People are calling Shift Up disgusting, vile, literally every word imaginable because Evie looks young, but also has a body that reminds them of Eve from the first game. And we all remember how they had that chick looking fine as hell by just sliding down ladders. And maybe a baby face and a hot body is confusing for a lot of people, but honestly, these are probably the same people that cheered when Ellie and Riley kissed in The Last of Us. Okay, this chick isn't kissing anyone. She's just opening a can of whoop ass, and it's your own fault if your eyes just happen to drift down to see her jiggle physics. Destructoid dropped an article saying she looks like she's pushing 10 years old in some scenes. Osmond Gold said she looks too young and the voice doesn't match the face. And I'm just sitting here like, have we forgotten that Asian women exist? Because I gotta tell you, I've met plenty of Korean and Japanese women in their mid-20s who look like they could pass for high schoolers. And by met them, I mean I've played multiple Asian dating simulators. But the young appearances, that's just the thing. They're petite. Heck, lots of women look young. It's not a conspiracy against all the little chillins of the world. Now the Shift Up CEO Kim Hyung-tae already came out and said, yeah, she's intentionally shorter and younger looking. He wanted her to have a stronger personality and engage in much tougher battles. And when asked about the concern that people will view Evie in a way that they don't want, his response was basically, if you actually play the game, you will not think that. And honestly, I kinda believe him. The first Stellar Blade had Eve who was undeniably sexualized. I played that game with one hand on the controller and another one clutching a bottle of lotion. But that's just because I have dry skin. People complained about that too. Now they switch it up, make a younger looking protagonist with a much more defined personality, and maybe a tiny bit of butt, a little bit, and people are still mad. I mean, you just can't win with these people. But here's the thing that no one's talking about because they're too busy rage posting. The actual gameplay looks pretty sick. Evie uses mechanical fists that can change shape and become different weapons instead of just swinging a sword around like Eve did. The trailer was captured entirely in-game on PC and it looks gorgeous. The world is darker, more cyberpunk, giving off Blade Runner and Ghost in the Shell vibes. And unlike the first game, which was published by Sony, Shift Up is self-publishing this time, which means PC launch is basically guaranteed day one. And that's huge. The original Stellar Blade sold over 6 million copies as of January 2026, with more than half the player base coming from China. The game had sold 1 million units on Steam in just its first few days, so yeah, Shift Up knows exactly where their money is coming from, and they're not stupid. No, apparently that's just Sony. Now the outfits, because of course we have to talk about the outfits, Kim said Evie's outfits will be even more appealing than Eve's, and that's where the real tension is. A character with a childlike face wearing the same kind of revealing outfits that make the first game famous. I get why that makes some people uncomfortable, I really do. I mean, have you seen some of the costume mods for Stellar Blade on PC? But at the same time, I remember playing Resident Evil 2 Remake, and Claire had a face that could pass for 16 and nobody batted an eye. And let me tell you, those PC mods will make you run straight into the nearest confessional. Context matters, presentation matters, and we haven't even seen the full game yet. We've seen one trailer. One. This reminds me of when people were raging on Pragmata because of the kitty android girl. People loved that game when it came out because it was a fun dad simulator in space. When Stellar Blade came out, that came out to a lot of pretty raving reviews, because aside from the very attractive protagonist of that game, in the very sexualized way that she was presented, there was a lot of really cool and stylish gameplay decisions in there. And let's be real for a second, the gaming industry is in a weird place right now. Ubisoft is restructuring after Tencent bought a chunk of them, Bungie is struggling with Marathon. Actually, I think they're about gearing up to bring Old Yeller out back and put her down. Live service games are dropping like flies, and here comes Shift Up, a studio that made a single-player action game with a hot protagonist, sold millions, and is now making a sequel that looks even better. I mean, they're doing something right here. They're not chasing trends, they're not making a live service extraction shooter, they're making a single-player action game with cool combat and an interesting world, and people are mad about the main character's face. I mean, we're living in a world where Stop Killing Games is struggling to make it into EU law. So I mean, we need to have our priorities straight here, people. So yeah, I'm excited for Stellar Blade Blood Rain. I think Evie looks fine. I think the gameplay looks great. I think the controversy is overblown and driven by people who are never gonna buy the game anyway. And I think Shift Up should keep doing what they're doing because clearly it's working. And they're keeping a lot of lotion companies in business. You know, because of my dry skin. The first Stellar Blade sold over 6 million copies, and I'm sure the second one is gonna sell even more. And when the game comes out, everyone's gonna forget about the babyface discourse and just enjoy punching robots with mechanical fists, like this is Rock'em Sock'em Robots. Anyway, this is Rage Watch, and I'm out. Thanks for watching.